Let it snow, let it snow, and hopefully you get to stay in, stay in. The winter storm is covering the Front Range with 6 to 8 inches of snow in most places, and it is a Denver 7 Weather Action Day.
Yeah, some good news for the kids. Most schools are on a snow day, not a remote learning day either. That never really caught on there.
Right.
Yeah, so snow day, kids. You can see the full list on thedenverchannel.com. We have team coverage across the metro area, including Jason keeping an eye on the roads, and our reporters out all over different parts, showing you the difference between one side of town to another.
We do want to start with our forecast. Of course, meteorologist Lisa Hidalgo here with the snow that will taper off. What's up, Jason? And
so sorry. Wrong way.
Saw that one coming from one end of the studio to the other. But Lisa, I mean, it is really cold out there. Maybe it got to his head.
How long has he worked in this business? Those are live cameras, Jace.
Sorry.
Live cameras.
Whoops.
We are now looking at so far this season, 18.2 inches of snow. So far officially out at the airport, just over 2. We're likely going to see another 1 to 3 today. So yeah, the snow has tapered off a little this morning, but we're likely going to see another little surge of it here before all of it starts to clear out later today. This is all part of a big storm system. You can see we're going to be on the western edge of it. It extends south and then north and east up into the Great Lakes, and those are all there in pink. Winter storm warnings. Our warning here in Denver in effect until midnight tonight. We saw a pretty good band of snow right in and around Commerce City early this morning. You can see how that has started to taper off, clear out a bit, but we're likely going to see some more snow in another, again, 1 to probably right around 2 in town through the afternoon. Coming up here in a few minutes, I'm going to take you through our futurecast, and I'll show you just how much colder it's going to get early tomorrow morning. Plus, we have some new snowfall totals coming in for neighborhoods, and if you've got some measurements out there that you want to send to us, go for it. Okay, now it's your turn on camera.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just don't know where I'm going. Sometimes
You're just a camera hog.
No, believe me, I would rather be on radio. We have a good drive going on in some areas. In other areas, it is still totally snow covered. So it depends on where you're going, where speeds are going to be a little bit higher. But be careful if you're driving in some of these areas where you start to see some blacktop. You're going to get comfortable with the conditions, raise those speeds, hit some ice and snow, and then spin out and the crashes can be more violent. It's down in the Denver Tech Center, over to the west side on 285 at C470. Take a look at the other cameras here this morning. I just had a crash reported as you flip the cameras to the other one, if you would, to I-25 near 6th Avenue, and that would be the southbound side there. This is the northbound side. I am not seeing significant slowing yet. Obviously, traffic is a lot lighter than normal in most areas here this morning. Take a look at the overall drive times, and you can see the drive times are up because the speeds are down in the 40s. Most folks are comfortable in the 40s and the 30s in some areas, and you are going to see some slow and go pockets here and there, but we haven't had a whole lot of problems, which is good news as you're making your way around town right now.
All right, our team coverage continues across the metro with Denver 7's Colette Bordelon. She's live in Commerce City, right off Central Park Boulevard near 50th. Hey, picking up again out there, Colette, the snow, and you have a ton on the ground behind you.
There's so much snow out here. We kind of moved into this neighborhood right there in Commerce City, and it's practically untouched. I mean, my car would never make it. You can tell how deep it is right here. And if you look here, we were just talking, me and Brandon, my photographer out here, it's like the cars are having to act as the plows. You can just see where they've had to drive through. We've seen a couple try and brave this, but I mean, my car wouldn't make it if I'm being honest. And then you can tell these sidewalks over here also just completely untouched. I don't know where it starts, where it ends. We have seen a couple of, that's where it starts, there we go. We have seen a couple of close calls. We saw someone actually try to make a U-turn over there on Central Park Boulevard, fishtailed all around. That was a little bit stressful to see. I also am thinking these sidewalks could use a little bit of shoveling. I met a man who's been shoveling for 20 years earlier when I was around the Capitol in Denver this morning. He is really doing everything he can to just keep us all safe out there.
Just cleaning the walks so people don't fall and bust their butt. It's my job to keep your butts safe.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. And so far this morning, I actually haven't fallen, which is shocking to me. If you do have to get outside though, please take it slow. Please make sure you know what you're about to be getting out onto. We've been all over the Denver metro area, and we're showing you the road conditions in all these different parts. They're very different. So out here in this neighborhood, obviously really packed, but then, you know, on 70 when we were driving out here, it definitely has been maintained, but we still saw some cars struggling out there. So just make sure you know what you're getting into before you head out the door. Live all morning, Club Portal on Denver 7. Yeah.
Take someone like Mike along with you if you can there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, anything that's been shoveled or plowed is getting covered with that continuous snow. We've only seen it break for just a little bit. Want to head east to Christian Lopez, who's been out in Aurora most of the morning. How is it where you are?
Hi there. So yeah, this isn't really coming down as heavy as we saw earlier this morning, but we are next to a shopping center right now, and a lot of these stores aren't open yet, but there is a dry cleaner service that is open right now. It is the only business that is open at this time, but we're not really seeing too many people going in and out of that store. As far as the road conditions right now, let me show you. You can see that the roads are slick and they are snow packed, but cars are actually driving at a higher speed compared to what we saw earlier because the snow plows are constantly coming through here. We're seeing them every few minutes or so. You'll notice we're also next to the RTD Park and Ride, so we're also seeing a few buses pass through the road. I saw one that was headed towards the Denver airport, and you can see here on the sidewalk just how heavy the snow is. Let me show you. You can barely see my shoes when I step in here, and the snow itself is pretty dry and pretty fluffy right now, but we are going to stay out here. If you're in this area in Aurora near I-225, we're going to stay out here and continue monitoring these conditions if you plan to pass through here. For now, live in Aurora, I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
All right.
All of us wore our short boots today. You know, we really need the high snow boots.
Right, yeah, it
to
really,
get through this one.
really piled up out there. Nobody wants wet socks on a day like today. Let's get to Veronica Acosta. She is up off of I-25, a little west of there, northwest side of the metro.
Yeah, we're near Wadsworth and Ralston this morning, and take a look at this back here. This is what we want to see on mornings like this. Empty lots where those plow drivers usually are. We saw about 3 of them or so about 30 minutes ago take off from here, and they were headed towards Highway 128. Here's what they said. Overnight, they had some plow drivers going through that area, but since then, they hadn't seen anyone come through. And they hadn't had any of their drivers go through there. So that's where they were headed. They said there was pretty good accumulation of snow. But out here where we are on Wadsworth, take a look at the roadways here. They're not looking too bad. Drivers are able to maintain their speed all morning. They have been as they've been making their way through here. You know, they're going 20 miles an hour and above. Earlier this morning where we were closer to Lakewood, we were seeing some of those slower speeds, especially near those hills. We were watching cars go 5, 10, 15 miles an hour this morning. You can see even the smaller cars, they're going at a pretty good speed. So that's the good news. If you are making your way to work or wherever you might need to go this morning and you're walking, just be mindful of those curbs. We've had a few accidents ourselves, and you can see another plow driver coming through here. That's what we've seen a lot. We're seeing those private plows come through, not so much those big plows, but we have seen a couple City of Lakewood ones come through and make sure that the roadways look pretty good for drivers this morning. So just something to watch for as you're waking up if you're anywhere near Arvada. We're live in Arvada. I'm Veronica Acosta, Denver 7.
Yeah, some of that snow will break up thanks to the plows, but it's not going to melt off. Very, very cold today. Thank you, Veronica. CDOT plow drivers have already been out for hours this morning. They are currently working in 12-hour shifts, 12 on, 12 off. And with more than 100 new plow drivers, CDOT is reminding us now would be a good time to remember to give plows room to do their work, especially if they're working in formation or tandem formation. CDOT says if you can work from home today, it would be a good day to do so. And just like CDOT, the city of Denver has its plow drivers on 12-hour shifts. The city has deployed its bigger plows on the main streets and smaller residential plows for the side streets. The residential plows are scheduled to run from 3 a.m. until 3 p.m.
The storm is impacting flights in and out of DIA. We just checked FlightAware, and 134 flights are canceled, and there are 24 delays because of the storm here, and it's also affecting other hubs in Chicago and Dallas. You can get the latest weather and traffic conditions throughout the day by downloading the Denver 7 Plus app. We have a 24/7 weather stream, interactive radar, and an hour-by-hour forecast on there. It's free for your Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, and Android device. And some breaking news. President Biden will send thousands of troops to Poland, Germany, and Romania in response to ongoing tensions on the Russia-Ukraine border. This comes just hours after Russian President Vladimir Putin said he was willing to talk more about de-escalation. An official response from Russia to this latest announcement is expected soon. We'll continue to keep you updated on this developing story. Lisa.
Take a look at our emoji cast. It's going to be a cold one today. Right now we're in the low teens. We'll likely see maybe a 3 to 5 degree warm up. Low to mid teens through the afternoon. Snow will continue here through midday. In fact, we may start to see it ramp up a bit within the next couple of hours. I'll show you what that looks like on Futurecast. Tomorrow, bitter cold. Details of that on our Super 7 Day coming up.
You can see the road conditions we have out to the south side of town. This is going to be on South Broadway there through Inglewood, just north of Hamden. You can see this is the northbound, southbound side. Actually, the snow is getting broken up pretty nicely from some of the cars that are out there. So the sidewalks are pretty snow covered, so tough if you were going to be using a bike here today. There is a new crash out to the east on 225 near Mississippi. I'll have that for you coming up in just a minute.
Still to come, what's next for the man whose threats prompted a lockdown in Boulder's University Hill neighborhood?
And an update on when we could see a COVID vaccine for kids under 5, an important meeting among top doctors.